Miami's cancelled, for you, bro, my brother laughed from first class. I paid $3,700 for the Airbnb. The next day, my card was drained, and Mom left a voicemail. Stop being dramatic. This is urgent. I just sent a GIF, then made one call. When they returned home, a sold sign was on the lawn, and their keys no longer worked. Can you imagine paying for an entire family vacation, only to be bumped from your own flight by your brother and mother, who then sip champagne in first class on your dime? That was my rock bottom, a betrayal so sharp it cut to my core. Hey everyone, I'm Daniel. I'm 31, the oldest kid, the default problem solver, the quiet fixer in my family. I do operations for a startup, which, honestly, just means I'm the guy who keeps things moving and makes sure people stop fighting on Slack. I live in a small apartment over a laundromat, drink diner coffee, and I track everything in spreadsheets. Because, let's be real, numbers don't lie the way people do. I'm the first in my family to graduate college. And yeah, I'm the one who bought the house my mom lives in. Don't applaud. I didn't do it out of pure nobility. I did it because I'm a sucker with a good credit score and a soft spot for a woman who calls me Danito when she needs something, and then gets incredibly dramatic when I ask for basic respect. My younger brother, Evan, he's 27. Charismatic, loud. He's the kind of guy who says networking like it's a personality trait. He's always been Mom's favorite. A free spirit, she'd say, when he'd blow rent money on shoes. But if I forgot to call on a Sunday? She'd sigh like I'd just kicked a puppy. 3 quick facts about me: I save every receipt. I once paid off a $9,800 credit card bill my mom swore was a bank error. And I used to actually believe people when they said thank you. That's important context, because this story isn't just about a flight. It's about a ledger I'd been keeping, unknowingly, for years. So, this trip. 4 nights in Miami. Beach, good food, no fights. That was the dream. I booked the Airbnb. I ate the whole $3,700 upfront, like the responsible oldest child I am, because we'll send our parts after payday. I even made a Google Doc with activities, so no one could ever say I didn't plan for everyone. I genuinely imagined us laughing over empanadas, finally remembering how to just be a family. Morning of the flight. I'm at gate D14, neck pillow on, probably radiating way too much optimism. My phone buzzes. Evan. With his stupid 2-finger peace sign photo. He didn't even say hello. Just, Miami's cancelled, just for you, bro. Then he laughed. I could hear clinking glasses in the background, like they were already celebrating. We're bumping you. First class can't fit 3. Mom says you'll understand. Silence on my end. Just the wheels of a woman's suitcase next to me, and the gate agent droning about Zone 1. I stood up, walked to the big window. Planes looked so small, so reasonable from there. What did you do, Evan? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Relax, he said, they had an offer at the counter. Upgrade for 2, last minute. We took it, but there's a wait thing. Super boring. Anyway, don't be salty. You can catch a later one. There's a standby list. I mean, can you believe the nerve? I paid for the Airbnb, I said, sounding like an idiot who still thought facts mattered. He laughed again, lower this time. Yeah, and you booked it under your account, which means you can handle check-in whenever you get there. Win-win. I pictured them. Evan, grinning ear to ear. Mom, nodding along, waving me off like a waiter they'd already tipped. My chest got tight. That old, familiar feeling. Put Mom on, I managed. Busy pre-boarding selfies, he said, his voice turning syrupy. Don't make this a thing, Dan. You're always so intense. Just be flexible for once. A final boarding call swallowed his words. The line hummed. Then Mom's voice cut in. Bright. Irritated. Daniel, please don't be dramatic. We're already on the jet bridge. Did you pack sunscreen? Remember you burn? Her tone made me 5 years old. Her dismissiveness made me a problem. Are you serious right now? I said, trying to keep my voice even. Evan offered to pay for a nicer experience. Why should I argue? You know your brother. He gets opportunities. We need to support him. She was talking about leaving me behind. She really said that. Then she snapped, don't guilt trip your family. If you miss this one, catch up tomorrow. It's not that deep. I could hear the gate agent waving her on. Gotta go. Love you. Click. The call died. The window in front of me showed my reflection. Jaw tight. Hands gripping my crumpled boarding pass. I stared at their plane, nosing toward the runway, and just thought, of course. Of course they did. I put my phone down. Picked it up. Typed 3 different texts to the family chat, and erased every single one. My hands shook. I swallowed it. Like I always do. Behind me, a kid asked his dad if Miami had dolphins. The dad answered kindly. The kid smiled, like the world was an easy place. My phone buzzed again. Not a call. A ping. In the family chat. A photo from Evan. First class champagne. A blurry selfie of him and mom. His caption, manifesting abundance. Then, Daniel, grab us Cuban coffee tomorrow. I closed my eyes. Something hot crawled up my throat. Every part of me wanted to scream. Instead, I just sat down, opened my notes app, and typed one line, remember this feeling. I didn't know it then, but that was the moment the story started to turn. Not when they boarded. Not when they posted. Right there, with my cheap carry-on and a gut full of quiet anger. That was the thread I was finally going to pull. To understand why this wasn't just about a flight, you have to know the ledger I was already keeping. Growing up, money was practically a rumor in our house. We always had enough, as long as I worked weekends, and Evan had hobbies Mom could brag about. I bought my own cleats in 9th grade. Evan got a drum kit for his creativity. When I dared to ask about fairness, Mom would say, don't make everything about money. In college, I lived on peanut butter and learned to stretch rice 6 ways. Evan? He'd come down twice a semester, visit, and leave with my hoodie and my grocery cash. Mom's excuse? He's just a kid. He was 20. I was 22. Adulthood, apparently, was a sliding scale. After graduation, Dad left. 1 suitcase. A Facebook update. New chapter, he called it. He sent 1 text, take care of your mother. Not a check. Not a plan. Just a sentence. And then the bills started arriving. Late fees blooming like mold. The house, that small yellow one on Willow Street with the peeling porch, it was in Mom's name, but the mortgage rate was a joke only the bank found funny. She called me, crying, foreclosure hiccuping out of her. I was 24, new job, more hope than sense. I moved back for a year. Made my spreadsheets. Called lenders. Learned that pretending to be calm is 60% of adulthood. A broker said we could refinance if someone with better credit co-signed. So, I did it. I signed. Felt the pen bite into my finger. We saved the house. Mom hugged me, said, "You're my rock." It sounded like love. But it was also a sentence. A heavy one. After that, I became the emergency contact for everything. Daniel, the fridge died. Daniel, the car needs tires. Daniel, the dentist says crowns. Receipt after receipt after receipt. I wasn't rolling in money, I just organized it. I said yes because I believed in the myth, if I kept the roof over us, eventually we'd all feel safe. And if we felt safe, maybe we'd be kind. Evan called me the bank of Big Brother. Laughing, he'd show up in fresh sneakers, slap my shoulder, and say, "You know I'll pay you back when the app blows up." He never built the app. He built excuses. When I tried to draw boundaries, Mom cried. "You can't punish your family for not being as lucky." She meant Evan. He was talented. He was discovering himself. He was also taking my debit card for groceries and returning it with an Uber charge from 2 a.m. There were so many quiet humiliations. The Christmas Mom wrapped a sweater from Evan and whispered, "I bought it, but he picked the color." The birthday where Evan toasted me for being responsible to a fault, and everyone laughed like that was charming. I dated Lena for 2 years. She broke up with me on a Tuesday, next to a sink full of my meal prep containers. "I love you," she said, "but I'm not trying to build a life with a committee." She met my family. She meant the unspoken rule that if Mom called, we left dinner. If Evan texted, I transferred money. I told myself she was overreacting. Then I sat in my car, staring at the steering wheel for an hour, because I knew she wasn't. The house got retitled during one of those refinances. My name ended up first on the deed. "Just for the rate," the broker said. "We'll fix it later." Mom said we never fixed it. I paid the property taxes. I fixed the porch. I even changed the locks once when Dad tried to move himself back in. Mom yelled at me for 2 weeks. "That's your father." She didn't say, "That's my mortgage." By the time Miami came up, my boundary muscle was dead. Mom wanted a real vacation. Evan wanted content for his feed. I just wanted proof we could be normal. "We'll all split it," I'd said. "Everyone sends their share by the 1st. "Of course," Mom said. "Big bro, I got you," Evan said. "On the 1st? 0. On the 2nd, a reminder." Mom replied with a paragraph about payroll glitches. Evan sent a fire emoji. On the 3rd, I paid the full $3,700 because the cancellation fee was 50%. It felt like throwing cash into a wishing well, praying for a family. The week before we left, Evan asked to borrow my car to hold a rental. "They need a real credit line," he said, eyes all shiny innocence. "You know, I don't have that kind of limit." "Absolutely not," I said. My voice surprised both of us. He pouted. "You're being weird." I held my ground. He sulked for 2 days. Mom texted, "Stop picking on your brother." So yeah, when they upgraded themselves and demoted me at the gate, it wasn't random. It was the logical end of a long math problem. And I was always the remainder. I sat at D14 for a long time, pretending to read the departures board. People moved around me. Suitcases sang. I could feel a decision stirring inside me, like a draft through a closed window. Then, a small thing happened that shouldn't matter, but it did. A little girl tugged her mother's sleeve and asked, "Do I have a seat?" And the mom bent down and said, "Of course, sweetie. You always have a seat." I wanted that sentence more than I wanted Miami. I wanted a life where I wasn't a standby passenger in my own family. I didn't call them again. I went home. Slept badly. Woke up to sunlight and something sharper. Resolve, maybe. I made coffee, opened my banking app to check utilities. That's when the next hit landed. The numbers didn't look right. My checking account balance was way lower. Pending charges, stacked like dominoes. $468.92. Luxury Wheels LLC. $319.50. Oceanside Cabana Rentals. $22.18. MIA VIP Lounge Day Pass, for 2. And then a new one blinked in as I watched, $1,080. Sky Bar Table Minimum. My chest went ice cold. I scrolled. The card used? My backup debit card, tied to Apple Pay. The one Evan had accidentally added once when he needed to call a Lyft. I thought I'd removed it. I hadn't. Or he re-added it. Either way, my money was now their weekend. My phone rang. Mom. I didn't answer. Immediately, it rang again. Unknown number. Then Evan. Then Mom again. The voicemail chime hit. I pressed play, put her on speaker. Stared at the numbers blinking away my rent. "Daniel, stop being dramatic. This is urgent." Mom's voice snapped. "The fake sweetness, gone. The bank flagged your card. And we can't finish paying the deposit for the boat. They said you have to approve it. Call me now. Do not ruin this trip because you're sulking." Another voicemail landed. Evan, laughing. "Bro, chill. We put you on the reservation because your limit is clean. It's just authorizations. I'll PayPal you later. Don't be a hater." I didn't rage. Something went quiet instead. Like a theater when the lights drop before the real show begins. I opened our family group chat. Evan had posted a boomerang of champagne bubbles. Mom typed blessed. There were hearts from Tia Lily. I replied with a sarcastic gif, a sloth slow clapping. 10 seconds of petty satisfaction. Then I did what I should have done years ago. I made one call. Not to them. To a realtor. "Hi," I said, the words tasting strange and true. "I'm the owner of a single-family home on Willow Street. I'm ready to list today." There was a pause. Then that warm, efficient voice people use when the commission is real. "We can have a photographer by 3, a sign-up by 5. Are you sure about the price point?" "I'm sure about selling," I said. "Do you have other decision makers?" "It's just me." The next few hours were a blur. Signatures. Emails. DocuSign pings. The realtor sent comparables. I picked a fair number, not generous. Forwarded the title packet, tax receipts, appraisal. I pulled my spare keys from the drawer. Texted our neighbor, Mr. Patel, there will be people at the house today. Please don't be alarmed. He replied with a thumbs up. About time, he added. I chose to interpret that as support. At noon, I called my bank's fraud line. I need to remove a device from my digital wallet and block all authorizations from Miami. The rep said the magic phrase, "We've got you." They reversed the pending charges, froze the card, rushed a new one. I changed passwords. Switched utilities to my personal email. Moved the mortgage autodraft to an account only I controlled. At 2 p.m., the realtor texted a photo. A white post, lodged in our brittle grass. The red for sale rider wasn't up yet. The empty sign swung in the breeze like a secret. By 3 p.m., 2 men in polos and a woman with a clipboard were on the porch. The photographer said, "Can you open the blinds?" I walked through rooms that smelled like lemon cleaner and old arguments. Mom's knickknacks glittered in the sun. Evan's shoes, 3 pairs, kicked under the hall bench like they owned the place. I took a box, started packing what was mine. Not because I was cruel, but because I was done leaving pieces of myself for people to misplace. By 5, the for sale sign faced the street. By 6, the listing was live. 2 showing requests for the next morning. The market was hot. My anger was hotter. At 7:12 p.m., Mom called again. Voicemail number 3. Daniel, why is the internet asking for a new login? We're trying to stream the sunset. Fix this. You know I don't understand tech. Then I heard her in the background, "Evan, stop laughing and get me another drink." I stared at my phone until my eyes ached. Then I put it face down, sat in the dark, the AC humming like applause. At 9:03, a text from the realtor. Full price cash offer. 14-day close. Buyer wants quick response. I signed. My fingers shook. My heart did not. This wasn't revenge. Not exactly. It was me stepping out of a trap I built with good intentions and bad boundaries. It felt like standing up in a crowded plane, finally taking a breath. Morning came like nothing had happened, except everything had. I made eggs. Fed the neighbor's cat. Checked email. There it was, offer accepted. Next steps. The escrow timeline was a neat little ladder I could climb out on. At 10:22 a.m., my phone lit up like a pinball machine. Mom. Why is there a sign in front of the house? Evan. A selfie, mouth open, pointing at the lawn. Caption, "Is this a prank?" Then a voice message from Mom. I pressed play, set the phone on the table like I was dissecting something dangerous. Daniel. You better pick up this phone right now. This is insane. People are slowing down in their cars. Our neighbors are looking. Do you have any idea how embarrassing this is? Remove that immediately. An hour later. There. Mine. I typed, "House is under contract. Close in 14 days. Start packing." She called. I answered. "What is wrong with you?" she screamed before I could even say hello. "You don't sell a family home without consulting the family. You don't rob a family member without consulting the family," I said, my voice flat. "You used my card again." "Don't be dramatic," she snapped. "We were going to pay you back." "When?" I shot back. "Before or after the boat? Before or after the VIP table minimum?" Silence. Then the tone switch. That syrupy bridge she uses when shouting doesn't work. "Honey, listen. You know I'm not good with systems. Evan offered to handle the upgrades. He said it was just a hold. You overreacted." Evan's voice crashed through the speaker. "Bro, come on. You're making us look stupid in front of the neighbors." "You did that," I said, "when you posted the first-class video while the guy who paid for the house sat at the gate." Mom gasped. Like I'd cursed in church. "How dare you throw money in people's faces? You know your brother works hard." "At what?" I asked. "Angles?" "See, you're cruel," she hissed. "You always have been. You pretend you're generous, but you love power." "Selling the house? Who does that? Where am I supposed to live?" "We're going to solve that like adults," I said. I've already arranged for a moving company next Friday. Storage unit is booked for 90 days, on my dime. After that, you choose a rental within the budget I'm willing to help with for 6 months, or you and Evan cover your own costs. You think you can put conditions on me? She spit. I am your mother. And I am your son, I said, the words steady. Not your bank. She tried a different front. Do you want your mother on the street? No, I said. I want my mother to stop using me as a crutch while she hands my brother a megaphone. Evan cut back in, louder now. You're jealous. That's all this is. You hate that people like me. I laughed then. Not because it was funny. Because the alternative was crying. Evan, I don't care who likes you. I care that you treat me like an ATM with a doormat attached. Click. They hung up. Text replaced the call. Paragraphs. Memes. Threats. Apologies. More threats. I muted the thread. 2 hours later, the realtor messaged, open house starts at noon. I decided not to be there. Took a walk. When I came back, there were shoe covers on the porch and glossy flyers on the console table, charming Willow Street bungalow. Updated systems. Newer roof. Updated systems? That was me. Newer roof? Also me. Charming? If by charming, you mean held together by a tired eldest son. Neighbors stopped by with faces set to concern. Mrs. Alvarez peered over the fence. Is your mother okay? She'll land, I said. And then, surprisingly, I meant it. Everyone will. By 5 p.m., for backup offers. A line of cars out front. By 6, Evan posted a story, smirking, house flippers are parasites. I didn't respond. I forwarded his story to the realtor. Family member may attempt to disrupt, she noted, like it was just weather. At 7:30, my cousin Diego called. He usually avoids family drama. Dude, he said, your mom is blowing up my phone. You okay? I'm fine, I said. It was true, in a way that startled me. Good, he said. Because respectfully, it's about time. She's been dining out on your kindness for a decade. He paused. Need a couch for anyone? Mine's free. I've got it covered, I said. Sunday morning. I changed the locks. Not because I was afraid, but because boundaries without hardware are just wishes. I left Mom a key in an envelope with a typed note, returned by Friday. Please coordinate with movers. Code to new keypad below. Taped it inside the storm door, so she'd see it before her followers did. At noon, my phone buzzed with a new tone. Bank fraud alert. Someone had tried to add my card to a digital wallet on a device named Evan's iPhone. I smiled, grimly. Nice try. Security locked it down. Again. At 8 p.m., a number I hadn't seen in years. Dad. Hey, champ, he said, like 2016 was yesterday. Heard about the situation. What situation? I asked. The one where your ex-wife tried to spend my rent at a Sky Bar, or the one where I remembered the house is in my name? He cleared his throat. Your mother can be spirited, but selling the house is extreme. Abandoning your family was extreme, I said. This is math. He fell silent. Then, almost gently, proud of you, in a weird way. Should have done it sooner. I know, I said. He exhaled. If she calls me, I'm going to say to listen to you. She won't, I said. But I appreciated the gesture. A breadcrumb from a man who'd left the bakery. Monday, paperwork. Tuesday, movers inventorying furniture Mom insisted were heirlooms. They were not. Wednesday, Evan standing on the lawn, filming himself saying, we were blindsided by greed. The comments were split between fans and people who could do math. I didn't respond. I answered only messages about dates, keys, boxes. I said no a lot. It felt like learning a new word in my own language. Meanwhile, small good things started happening. In the quiet spaces. My boss, Nora, called me into her glass-walled office. You've been more focused this week, she said. I slept, I replied. She nodded. I've also been reviewing comp adjustments. You've been carrying freight you weren't paid for. That changes today. She slid a paper across her desk. Numbers that made sense. Respect in spreadsheet form. I swallowed hard. Lena, my ex, texted. I heard about Miami from Diego, she wrote. Not the details, just that you finally chose yourself. I'm happy for you. It's overdue. Thanks, I typed, then deleted I miss you and I'm better now. People aren't invoices. You can't just resubmit and hope for approval. Friday arrived. Movers filled boxes. Mom appeared an hour late, wearing sunglasses like armor. She refused to look at me. We'll talk when you're done being cruel, she said to the air. I'm done being convenient, I said, equal volume, no heat. The storage unit is paid through June. After that, it's yours. My friends say you're ungrateful, she threw, like a dart. After everything I've done for you, Mom, I said, softer now. What you've done for me didn't require me to be less than a person. For a second, her face flickered. Then she lifted her chin. Evan will take care of me, she announced. I glanced at him. He was on his phone, editing a video titled, A Son's Betrayal. The irony tried to kill me. The movers took the last box. The house echoed. I walked room to room, lights off, saying goodbye to plaster. Saying goodbye to an idea. At the door, I put Mom's old key in her palm. Lock it behind you, I said. The keypad code expires at midnight. You're not welcome at Christmas, she spat. I'll be busy, I said. We stepped outside. The lawn hummed with the late sun. The Soul Brighter hung under the main sign, like a period at the end of a long, mean sentence. Mom tried her key. It didn't turn. She rattled the knob anyway, as if stubbornness could open steel. She looked at me like I was a stranger who'd stolen something. Maybe I was. Maybe I stole myself back. I got in my car and drove home to my laundromat apartment, which suddenly felt like a palace. Because the only mess inside it was mine. You want a moral? I used to think morals were for stories other people told about you, to make themselves look good. Now I think a moral is just a boundary that learned to speak in full sentences. Here's mine, I am not a wallet. I am not a spare key. I am not a seat you can bump without asking. I am a person. My mother is still my mother. My brother is still my brother. But those facts don't require me to be a resource. Love without limits isn't love. It's just control, cloaked in obligation. And I was done.